reports this morning, the Israeli government expects Hamas will release the bodies of several dead hostages later this week. The Netanyahu government is also reportedly working on getting what are believed to be the last 6 living hostages released on Saturday. So far, 19 have been released as part of ceasefire deal and negotiations, including American-Israeli Sagui Dekel-Chen. He was freed Saturday after nearly 500 days in captivity following the October 7th attacks. I'm now joined by Jonathan Dekel-Chen, Sagui's dad. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining me, especially so soon after your son's release.
Thank you for having me.
You know, we all watched the videos play out this weekend of him coming home, being reunited with you and his family. How is he doing this morning after nearly 500 days away?
Well, he has been, in a sense, sort of born again as a human being in the world that we inhabit. And that's joyous. It's joyous for himself. It's joyous for his wife, his 3 little girls, and our family, our community of Nir Oz. I'd like just to take a moment also for everyone to keep in mind that Sagui, in fact, and I are dual U.S.-Israeli citizens. There are still 5 U.S. citizens being held by Hamas. And so this is still very much an American challenge to get those 5 home among the 73 hostages who still need to be freed.
Right. You know, we are playing this video on the right side of the screen here where you also walk into that room and you're laying eyes on your son for the very first time. I mean, and this hug, what did that hug mean to you and feel like for you as dad, Jonathan?
Well, that I have my son back, that we can all now, we have light back in our lives. You know, the air that we breathe has oxygen in it. We did not know what his condition is. We didn't know, obviously, if he was alive, if he would be able to walk on his own 2 feet, and to see him, and mostly to see his eyes. Was a moment I will never forget for the rest of my days. Since he was a little kid, he speaks with his eyes. And from the second that I saw him in person, not just via camera from the handoff in Gaza, my son was back after 500 days in hell. But that guy was back.
Yeah, I know you've shared before, looking into his eyes, you knew he had survived 500 days in hell. You know, I think one of the big questions for a lot of people everywhere is what these hostages endured on a day-to-day basis for nearly 500 days. Jonathan, has he shared with you what his day-to-day looked like in captivity?
He has. Look, most of it, I would suggest that no one try to imagine. Generally speaking, he arrived in Gaza wounded from October 7th. Only rudimentary care was given to him. There is a lot of recovery and rehabilitation just from those wounds, because he really didn't get any proper medical attention for the vast majority of that time. All of the hostages who are emerging from the tunnels are suffering the effects of 500 or so days with 0 sunlight, malnourished, no medical care, which I mentioned. The sanitary conditions are simply horrific. And of course, the threat of death hovered over them every second. Yeah. Obviously, from their Hamas captors, who we all now know have no value for human life, but also from friendly fire. From Israeli forces. You know, there are battles raging above their head, and those put them in direct danger, not just the terrorists holding them, but also the hostages. This means that there is the utmost urgency to complete this deal as quickly as possible, and to get all of the hostages home.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.